Hello from LoveLitCon in San Diego. Joining me now is Falon Ballard, author of Just My Type, All I Want Is You, Lease on Love, Right on Cue, Change of Heart, which just released last year, Something Wicked, and the upcoming Toe to Toe. Hi, Falon.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining me here at LLC. Are you excited about
I am. I literally just got here, so I'm a little taking it in, but I'm very excited. I peeked into the little vendor marketplace, and my wallet is already crying.
Same. I did a little peek earlier too because I've been kind of in this hole over here where I haven't seen, and I opened the doors at one point and I was like, oh, we got signs now. We got things going on. So
there's a ton of people out there already. I walked by the registration line and I was like, oh my god. So we're kicking in. We're kicking into gear.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start off by playing Two Truths and a Lie with you. So you can go first. Tell me your truths and your lies.
Okay. So first thing is Ryan Gosling once checked me out in a bar. Second thing, I do not reread books. Third thing, I once lived in New York for 5 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and say the lie is that you do not reread books.
That is true.
Falon, what?
I know. It's not that I don't want to. I just have so many books on my TBR that it is impossible for me to justify going back to read something I've already read when I'm I have literally 100 books that I haven't read.
Okay,
yet.
I hear you on that, and I'm right there, because as someone who loves rereading, I will say I don't think I've reread in a while.
Yeah.
Because
I used to, but I just can't. Yeah, I don't have time, unfortunately.
Okay. Then my second guess is New York.
Yes, I have never lived in New York, sadly.
But Ryan Gosling, okay.
Yeah. That is the thing that happened. That is my highlight of my life.
Yeah, perks of living in California.
Yes.
My gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, I don't know that anything. I would tell everyone.
Yeah, I truly do. Any chance I can bring it up, I'm yes.
You're at your signing and you're like, did you know?
By the way, one time.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, I'll give you mine really quick.
Okay.
I was a competitive figure skater for 14 years.
Ooh.
I performed at events for the London Olympics in 2012, and since it's Olympic season.
Yeah, good time.
In high school, I wanted to be a foreign correspondent.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like the first two kind of go together, competitive figure skating, performing at the Olympics. Although it was 2012 Winter Olympics. Who knows?
It was so long
math
ago.
I don't think I can do in my head and try to figure out at this point in time. I'm going to go with the foreign correspondent.
No, that's true.
True.
I did want to be a foreign correspondent.
I mean, that's kind of you are a correspondent.
It's sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
I just, at the time wanted to travel the world and tell stories from
that makes sense.
All around.
Okay, then maybe it's the London one.
No, that's also true.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was not a competitive figure skater. I was a competitive baton twirler.
Amazing.
So,
That's
if you ever want to write a story about a baton twirler.
You said that and I'm like, ooh.
Let me know. I'm happy to give you inside information.
That sounds so fun. Very cool.
And that's actually why I performed at the London Olympics. So
that makes sense.
Whole story, but yes, they are kind of connected. Let's start with Toe to Toe, since that's coming up. Your upcoming contemporary romance releasing on March 10th.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So I'm sort of pitching it as Center Stage meets Magic Mike, which are two of, in my opinion, the greatest films ever made and created. I am an elder millennial, so Center Stage was my entire life when I was in those teen years. And so I got the idea for this book as I was sitting in a theater probably by myself watching the third Magic Mike when it came out 2 or 3 years ago. And there's that scene at the end where they do that ballet-esque routine in the rain, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And at the time, I happened to be listening to a podcast about George Balanchine, who was basically like the founder of American Ballet. He created the New York City Ballet, and so I was like, these things just like sort of converged in my brain at like just the right time. And then I was like, yes, this is it. This is happening.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So you don't have a dance background, or do you?
I do a little bit. Like, I definitely danced as a kid when I was like younger, and then I was stupid and stopped dancing so that I could do cheerleading, which was also great in its own way. But like, there's times where I'm like, why did I stop dancing to do cheer? That was so dumb. I wish I would have stuck with it, but yeah, so I had a little bit in my like childhood, but never anything professional in any way, shape, or form.
Without spoiling anything, can you tell us one of your favorite scenes?
I mean, honestly, like anytime they're like actually dancing together, it was so fun to write those scenes, because it was also really challenging, because it's like I could see it in my head, but I was like, how do I get that visual image of like the choreography like onto the page in a way that like somebody who doesn't dance is gonna at least have like an idea of what it looks like. Obviously it's never gonna be exactly the same, but I was like, you know, for the person that doesn't understand like what a fouette is, like you gotta kind of like put it in different terms. So that was really fun, because it was challenging, and it was also cool to like kind of like visualize those moments.
Yeah, that makes me, I almost would equate it to like battle scenes for fantasies,
Totally.
where you're like, okay, the logistics of explaining this.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Probably pretty hard, but also super exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see where that would be really fun, but also very challenging.
It was cool.
Sort of speaking of the fantasy genre, late last year you also released your first romantasy called Something Wicked, the first in the series.
Yes.
How many books do you have planned for this?
So as of right now, it's 2. Hopefully it's going to be more than that. And it's just one of those things that until I know, I won't really know. But the second book is for sure happening. It's actually done on my end. So it'll be coming out later this year. I don't have a date yet, though.
Very fun for listeners and lovers of romantasy, which has been having its moment now for a few years. What is this one about?
So Something Wicked is Macbeth meets Moulin Rouge. So it is a Macbeth retelling set in a pleasure club in this sort of like made-up world. So you do have some of those elements from Moulin Rouge. Like the club is very much inspired by the Moulin Rouge setting. And there's sex magic and found family and murder and politics and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, again, it was like really cool to kind of challenge myself and do something different. And
what was the biggest, and maybe it's obvious, but like what was the biggest difference going from writing more contemporary romance to then switching into the romantasy mindset?
I mean, 100% it's the world building aspect of it, which world building has become my least favorite phrase of all time, because every time I would get an edit letter from my editor, she was like, more of this, and I was like, it's so hard. But yeah, it's like, you know, most of my rom-coms are set in real cities that exist, and so it's like, you know, if I'm saying, oh, this is set in Brooklyn in a brownstone, even if you've never been to Brooklyn, you have like a visual of what that means. And with a romantasy, you're like really starting from scratch, and you really have to like layer all of that in. And so that was hard.
Where did you start with Something Wicked? Where did you start with the politics? Did you start with, I've heard some people are like, well, I start with the currency. And I'm like, how do they pay first? And I'm always like, oh, weird. I don't know that that's where my mind would go to.
Yeah. I also heard somebody else say they start with like the sewer system. And I was like, okay, that's a choice.
Decisions were made. That's interesting.
All I knew is that there would be indoor plumbing, because I don't want to imagine a world in a romance book where there's no indoor plumbing. So I was like, okay, we got to have that. But yeah, that was interesting. I actually wrote a version of Something Wicked in 2020 that was set in like a completely different world, and it really didn't work. And so I think what was interesting and what sort of made it click was finding that Moulin Rouge inspiration. I was like, oh, now this all makes sense. And that also then helped build the magic system. Because of the heroine in Something Wicked, she has sex magic because she's a courtesan, and so it was like, okay, this is her job, so these kind of like go together, and really that was like sort of the foundation. And then I was like, okay, then we have to build in everybody else's powers and like how this works, and why is she being persecuted, and so it really kind of like stemmed in that magic and then built from there.
Very cool. And just is such a testament to the craft of writing. So that's huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge. You have real world experience with couples on their happiest days as well.
I do, yeah.
Which came first, working with weddings or being a romance author?
So I started wedding planning in 2011, and I didn't really sit down and like start writing romance books until about 2017. I always read them, so I've always been a romance reader, so that, has been there my whole life. But, and actually the first thing I wrote when I was like, okay, I want to kind of like try to take this writing thing seriously, was like a YA dystopian. It was awful. It was terrible. And I was like, the only part of this that was fun for me was like the romance story in this YA dystopian. And I was like, well, obviously then I should just write a romance. But yeah, so the weddings technically came first, but it was really interesting because I don't do wedding planning anymore, but I learned so much about how couples communicate with each other. And you could see, especially as I like spent more time doing weddings, it was like, oh, this couple communicates so well, like they're gonna be fine. And then you could see the couple and be like, you guys got some stuff to work on, because this is not, I mean, like, weddings are stressful, obviously, we're like very emotional, everything is like high level of feelings, but like you definitely have some moments where you're like, okay guys, we got to get this together a little bit.
Oh my God, I can only imagine some of the stories and the things that you have witnessed. I'm just like so many recovered memories for me today. Too, with Claire, we were just talking about, did you ever have to take those tests back in school that were like, this is what you should be when you're gonna grow up?
Mine was always like journalist or writer.
Well, mine told me I should be a wedding planner. It didn't happen, but I always thought it was cool. I loved the J-Lo movie, but I didn't go down that. But journalist isn't like too far off.
Yeah, it's like they're related.
They are adjacent in some. In addition to writing a ton, you're also a fellow podcaster.
I am,
right?
yeah.
Can you tell me about your show?
Yeah, so it's called Happy to Meet Cute, and I co-host it with my dear friend Courtney Kay, who is also a romance author. And we've been on a little hiatus because deadlines have been drowning me. Such is the risk when you publish 2 books a year. So, but actually we are like having a meeting next week to like figure out when we're going to start recording again. But we really started it because we wanted to talk to our author friends, and not just about writing, but like also about the other things that make us who we are. And so it's like so fun because we get to talk about publishing with our author friends, but then we also talk about like Real Housewives and whatever else is like on our minds and we're enjoying at the moment and obsessed with, and it's just super fun.
So what is your current obsession?
Okay, well, heated rivalry, obviously. I'm sure every person is saying that. I'm also like really into the Traitors right now.
Okay.
So
I've never watched this.
Oh my gosh.
However, I feel like I know so much about this current season because I listen to the podcast Giggly Squad religiously. Mm-hmm. It's one of my top podcasts. And so I know everything I need to know about Traitors has come from Paige DeSorbo.
I mean, it's really like is how life should be. Like, just listen to Paige and everything will be fine.
I wish I could carry more Paige energy.
She's my hero.
Yes. I'm so glad you know her. Like, we're in good company. my coworker or friend, everything. I was texting him about something, and he was like, you need to be asking yourself, what would Paige do?
Exactly. I mean, the answer is probably stay in bed, which is also what I want my life to look like.
Yes, which I wish I could do more of. So he was like, I was like, you know what? I need to carry that. What would Paige do?
What would Paige do?
What would Paige do in this situation? So, I love it. Okay. Let's see. If you could bring any of your characters to life for coffee or a cocktail, who would it be?
I mean, my first instinct was Cord from Toe to Toe, who is the Magic Mike dancer. And I feel like that is obvious and doesn't really need an explanation.
Enough said. The end.
The end.
Probably would bring him to life for more than a day.
Yeah. I mean, like, just let me come watch your show and I'll be good to go.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, when it comes to like a night of writing or reading, whatever, or watching the Traitors, what's like your go-to nightcap? Is it a cocktail, a mocktail?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty boring at night. At night, I'm just trying to hydrate and recover from not drinking any water throughout my entire day because I never do that. But I mean, if I'm like going cocktail, I'm a dirty martini person. That's my like drink of choice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That sounds... I also am rather boring, I would say, despite having... It honestly gets really hard sometimes when we have to record, and everyone's like, okay, so, like, what are they going to talk about? I'm like, so I'm only drinking coffee and water as of late. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have... So I've been trying to get a little more creative. But you bring up Toe to Toe again. So what are your plans with the upcoming release?
Yeah, so I'm kind of keeping it low-key with this one, but I do have some fun stuff. So on March 10th, which is release day, I am doing an event at Heartbound in Anaheim, which is my hometown romance bookstore. They're incredible. I love them so much. And I'm actually so excited for this because my husband is going to be my conversation partner. I was just like, I reached out to my publicist and I was like, look, like, I do these events now all the time, and I love them, and I love having conversations with other writers. I'm like, but can we, like, switch it up? Like, what do we think about this? And she was like, yes, I love this for you. Let's do it. So it's going to be really interesting because I have no idea what he's going to say.
Please tell me someone's going to record it.
I think we might need to, like, do, like, a live stream of it because... it has the potential to just go really off the rails, and I kind of like hope that it does. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I think I prefer stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super excited for that. And then I also, on March 21st at In Bloom in Temecula, we're doing a special like author conversation, and then we're watching Center Stage.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
I'm so excited.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so fun. I wish I was like in California to be a part of all of this.
I also too really want to. It doesn't open until until October, but they just announced that Magic Mike Live is doing like a run in New York. And I was like, whoa.
I think I saw this.
Yeah.
Because I want to say I literally saw Channing Tatum like talking about it.
Yes. He's been on TikTok and stuff talking about it. So I'm like, well, how do we make that happen? Like, do a little event and then like we all go to Magic Mike Live? Like,
wait.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know that I'll be, but full support. And if, let me know. Holy cow, that would be so much fun.
Okay. I'm glad. You sold me on it right there.
Okay.
I was like, okay, if one person thinks it's a good idea,
my papers.
that's all I know.
I was like, yes.
We are making it happen. Let's do this.
If you were to pair toe to toe with like a nightcap, it just can be cocktail or mocktail, what would be your pairing?
Okay, good question. I will say, so because Allegra and Cord are both professional dancers, they are very like conscientious.
Of course.
I can never say that word.
Conscientious.
About like what they eat and drink. And so I feel like if they were gonna like indulge, it would probably be like a red wine, like something that is like quote unquote healthy. You know?
Maybe
Quote,
good for your
healthy.
heart.
Yeah. if you're gonna have alcohol, I guess that's the best one to drink probably. But also they are very much both coffee drinkers, because how can you not be?
How can you not? I wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my second cup here very soon.
Yeah, I was like, is there coffee here?
I'm not gonna lie, there is, and it's really good.
Okay, good.
I had some yesterday when I got in here.
Amazing.
And then I had some this morning, and I will be returning. So it's very, very good. For listeners and readers, where can they connect with you?
Yeah, I'm super easy because I am the only Falon Ballard. And I am Falon Ballard on everything: Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is like where I probably post the most. Instagram is probably the best if you just want like updates and like, here's all the haps. TikTok is if you want me to be unhinged and telling you all my random thoughts about things.
Oh, we do. We want all of the above. Awesome. We will link to that in the podcast notes. Falon, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
This was awesome. Have the best time at LoveLitCon.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thanks. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives and Nightcaps podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram, or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers!